Okay, so now we're going to center clay. So why do you want to center clay? Well, you want to organize all of your clay in the center of the wheel, because if you have uncentered clay and you try and turn it into pottery, it's going to be much more difficult. So first we need to get our clay that we wedged onto the wheel. To do this, I like to use my elbow as a fulcrum, find where the center of the clay is, find this position, lift the clay up, and apply it to the wheel. It's not perfectly centered, as you can see, but now on the next step, we're going to take our hands at a slightly angled like this, and just help encourage the clay to the center and help it get stuck to the wheel. Next, I need to apply some water to the clay. Anytime I'm working with the clay now, I want to make sure there's water between my hands and the clay. And I'm going to use the hands in the same position and just apply some downward pressure, focusing at the very bottom. What I want to do is create this smooth attachment from the wheel to the clay. And then I like to take my finger and just make sure that there's no gaps at the bottom. Now I'm ready to start centering. So again, I'm going to add some more water. And now with the hands in the same position, I'm going to squeeze the clay upwards, thinking of kind of rolling the pressure upwards, starting at the bottom, and then moving it up, kind of rolling my hands upward. Now I've pushed the clay up and towards the center. I'm going to now push the clay down and into my hand. So I'm going to use this part of my right hand and this part of my left hand. My left hand is going to be pushing firm against the wheel and focusing on the bottom of the clay. And my right hand is going to be applying downward and force downward and away from my body. So a little more water to make sure I don't stick. Turn the wheel speed a little faster and pushing the clay downward and away from my body. Okay. Next, I'm going to just do those steps 2 more times. So I'm going to squeeze the clay together. Gathering the water from the wheel so I don't have to gather more from my bucket. My hands are always touching during this process. Hands are in the same position, really focusing on keeping the bottom of the clay with my left hand really firm. And then one more time. Now, this is pretty good. Also, on my last pass, I like to use to change the position of my right hand a little bit so that my pinky is kind of supporting on both sides. And using that same meaty part of my hand, I'm just able to apply pressure a little bit lower. Just kind of refine that bottom part. And then to just make sure the very bottom is really centered, I'm going to use my ring finger. My left hand's in the same position, and I'm just really kind of gently encouraging the clay kind of with a clawed right hand, just really focusing on that very bottom part. And now I have a centered piece of clay. In the next video, we'll talk about throwing a cylinder. See you then.